So the first thing to realize is, if someone's actually literally fallen asleep, you've actually lost touch with them, which means your second boilerplate hasn't worked, and then you do what you normally do to wake people up. Hello, right? Chances are, though, most of the time when you think someone's fallen asleep, they haven't. They've just done a little bit of what Winnie did with more oomph, and they're enjoying themselves drifting away. You can normally tell because when you ask them to come back, they'll be back. What if they don't? Well, several things could be going on. Primarily what tends to happen is, especially if someone's is having a stressful life or it's not had that many good experiences in their life, and they're going to hypnosis, and let's face it, it's nice, isn't it? Do you like trance? I love trance. I just like trance junkie. And sometimes people go, it's time to come back, and they go, no! Right? So, at that point, you have several choices available. One, bright eyes. So, one of the few things are available to you. One, if it's the context allows, let them enjoy it. Seriously, it could be the most therapeutic thing, right? If the time doesn't allow, which is more typically the case if you've got like a hypnotherapy clinic and you don't have a spare room that you can wheel them into and leave them for a while, then you have to basically negotiate your way back out and say along the lines of like, hey, come back. So the first point is don't panic, it's just normal. Just insist that they come back. And I've never had I've had several people who didn't want to come back, but I've never had someone who hasn't come back when I really bugged them and say, it's time to come back now. I'm going to count, coming back, that's it. Then you start describing the process of how it comes to come back. Your breathing improves, little muscle tension, a little bit more than that, that's it. Come on, you can do better than that. So you're really bugging them to do that. Some hypnotists recommend what's called the coma warning or something like that, which is, if you don't come back now, then I'll fix you, so you'll never go into hypnosis again, right? People go, oh, I'm coming back. Personally, I don't like that. That's kind of a little bit too much punishment for me. It works. It certainly works, and if you want to use it and you're okay with it in terms of the ethics, fine. I've never had to use it myself, so I'm quite happy with just being very insistent in what you're doing. Say again? Well, I actually have done that. I have actually done that. It's more saying, if you're doing a therapy session, say, hey, you're having this great trance thing, and I know you're really appreciating, you can really have as much as you want of this. Just remember I charge by the hour, and the next one's just starting, right? So that can kind of work quite well.
Have you ever had anybody snore while they're...
Sure. Snoring is not a sign of sleep. It can be a sign of sleep, but snoring is more a sign of relaxation. If the musculature inside the throat relaxing to a certain point where you have all the rattling and banging about going on, it's no big deal. Sometimes even I snore in trance. Can you believe it? Do you feel conned now? Hey? Has anyone ever woken themselves up for their snoring? No, I've never seen it. I'm sure it can happen, but I've never really seen it. So the first point is to insist. You make the same suggestions, you can open your eyes, it will happen with more insistence. The next thing is they're still suggestible, so you give them suggestions to be more alert, which is basically describe the process. Your breathing becomes more rapid, there's more muscular tension, you're more and more alert, that's it, more and more alert, rising back up to consciousness, soon your eyes will open, and you will, this is the emphasis, and you will be back feeling refreshed, relaxed, and alert, simply fantastic. So just being more insistent. You really, sometimes hypnosis, you really should be in charge. You're a hypnotist, right? There's a couple other things you can do. The next few things I want to talk about is less the question of whether they don't come back when you ask them to. What can occasionally happen is you get kind of like a trance hangover. So people come back. Have you ever been woken up in the middle of a dream or in the middle of sleep, and you're like groggy and you can't quite orient and you can't quite think straight and everything gets a bit weird. You feel like you're a teenager on steroids, right? Well, occasionally, someone coming back out of trance will have the same experience. They'll have difficulty reorienting and being back fully present in the room. It's, again, nothing to worry about. It's just like coming out of sleep. It just takes time for the body to catch up. So to help them with that, some of the things you can do is physical motion really helps. So suggesting that they move. So that's it, move your arms, take a stretch. That's it, move your hands right now. And, you know, hands wide, nice and wide, big in that. That's it, nice big stretch, nice big yawn, right? So you're giving them full suggestion so you start using their body, because as they use their body, it can break the trance response. As a rule, trance will inhibit motor functions, and using motor functions will pop them out, which doesn't mean to say you can't be in trance and still move perfectly, but then that tends to be something you have to suggest to people. Make sense? The next possibility is to do the opposite of what we talked about here a moment ago, which is engage their intellect. Engage them in conversation, ask about things, all those things that are normally the kiss of death to hypnosis, you do now. You know, ask for stats, you know, ask them how old, you know, the classic things like, you know, you've seen paramedics deal with someone who's banged their head or something. Those are great questions to ask as reorienting questions. What's your name? What do you do? How old are you? You know, where are you right now? Those are great orienting questions. It forces the intellect back into action, and that helps them kind of swim through the soup of trance back into regular consciousness, right? Food, drink, and other biological functions have a similar effect to the motion as well. So if you offer someone to a glass of water, if you can do so for, you know, if you can do so in terms of what you have in the practice, a cookie or something like that, the act of eating, the act of drinking can help ground people again. Okay? So something I like to suggest people as almost routine thing when they left my clinic is, hey, you know, we're done, we're finished, well done, etc. On the way, you know, outside you'll find a water fountain, one of these plastic cooler things. You make sure to sit down and have a drink before you head out, just to rehydrate, right? So as far as they're concerned, it's to rehydrate. For me, it's really a question of adding another little layer to make sure that when they hit the outside world doesn't hit them back in the form of a bus, right? Finally, let them do this rather than you. You notice again, when you wake up in the morning, what do? You rub your face, you cup your hands, and you rub your eyes a little bit, you stretch, it revitalizes you. So encouraging them to rub their face, to maybe massage the back of their head, to cup their eyes and things like that. Those are, again, physical motions that can help ground them in normal reality again. So these two are really the things that will happen. You'll use more when someone is being recalcitrant, doesn't want to come back because it's just too nice. These three, or these four, as well as these two actually, are tricks you can have up your sleeve in case they find it difficult resurfacing for whatever reason, and it just helps them to readjust or reorient. If you left them alone, chances are they would reorient naturally anyway. This makes it a little bit more quickly, and this helps them do it a little bit more quickly, and it also avoids the possibility that if you just left them, they might go right back down again because they would enjoy that more, and then your hours gets all messed up, and you know where I'm going with this, right? So this is what to do if they won't come out of trance. It's a very simple list. In fact, the worst case I've seen of this happened to me recently during the summer in England, and it took me about 10 minutes, which just seems like a long, long time, to get someone fully grounded. So, and that's because this person had a big thing happen to them. And so as a result, at the end of that, I actually ended up going for a walk with them as well afterwards to make sure that I could check all the signs, make sure it's all clear.